Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Manchester United have beaten Young Boys 1-0. This is going to be your call-in show to have your say. One thing I would say is that Mourinho has definitely sat down his haters tonight, and he's not been shy in taking the opportunity to do that. He's actually said this: the most important thing is to qualify, and for some of my lovers out there and those that like stats, I am 14 seasons in the Champions League and 14 times my teams have qualified through to the group stages. The season I was not in the Champions League, I won the Europa League. He's a bit like David Brent, isn't he, with the guitar? He went home to get it, because he literally had that ready to say tonight, clearly. And you know what? It absolutely... It frustrated people like Paul Scholes and Rio Ferdinand, because I was watching the reaction, and you know they're not kidded by it, and maybe you're kidded by it, maybe you're not. They said that the interview was quite good until that point where he makes it all about himself again. But the reality is we have qualified from a difficult group. He is right, and he will believe that he should now get backed in January, and he will believe that he should be given the opportunity to play and manage Manchester United in the Champions League knockout stages in February. Do you believe that that should happen or not? It's up to you. We've got our first caller. It will be a voice that you've heard before. Paul, can you hear me? He will unmute. Here he is. Paul, how you doing, pal?
Yeah, mate, good.
You said you weren't very happy. Go on, then. The floor's yours.
Yeah, just a general unhappiness, really, with the whole entire performance. I mean, can you tell me any positives from it? Because that's what I'm struggling to find. One single, apart from the win, which I can't ignore, because there'll be people in the comments saying that, you know, cheer up, we won. But other than the win, then I can't think of anything apart from, you know, negatives, difficult things to work out.
Well, I've had my normal negative shit on Twitter because somebody's obviously took the reaction to the goal. I make no apologies. Yeah. I make no apologies. If I stand up and go, yes, Fellaini, get in, I'm the biggest hypocrite in the world. And to be honest with you, I think I would have done the same. I was in Old Trafford on Saturday for the Palace game. If we'd scored in stoppage time, I would have reacted the same. I would have just been happy with the result because I want United to win. But I can't fake celebrate. This is 2.5 years in the making. It's frustration.
You can't celebrate mediocrity. You just can't, and that's what it is. You get a win, but the entire 90 minutes isn't a reflection of that win. It's difficult. The thing that bugs me is, no matter who we put out, what starting 11, what players, you know, who we're playing, whether it's Champions League, Premier League, we play exactly the same way, and it's not working. And then Jose just says, "I'll tell you what, next week we'll do exactly the same thing, and it's going to work. This one's going to work." And then it doesn't. And then the next week Jose says, "What I'll do, I'll put 3 different people on, more of my favourites, and then we'll do exactly the same thing," and it doesn't work. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. We're just doing the same thing, Mark, and we have been, in my opinion, just with better players and worse players for 3 years.
And the scary thing is that for those people who want to take a positive from it, and there is a positive that we won the game, we've just played Young Boys, who I called a pub team numerous times, who for me are equivalent of a League One side, maybe even worse. And we threw absolutely everything we've got at them. Our best players, in Mourinho's mind, because let's not start talking about Sanchez or Pereira or Herrera or Eric Bailly, because he could have picked them and he didn't pick them. He had to bring Pogba on, he had to bring Lukaku on, he had to bring Mata on, and we still only won because of a last minute bit of a handball, whatever you want to call it. We won it, and we, to beat a team like that, we had to throw everything he's got. And this is, for me, is why... Yeah,
we won it because of long ball tactics against Young Boys, with only 2 players in the 2.5-year reign he's had that he purchased. The rest were from Moyes, LVG, and Sir Alex Ferguson. Yeah. He spent £370 million, and he can only put on Matic and Fred, one of which was awful, and the other which he took off after 60 minutes, and he left Fellaini and Matic on. I mean, every decision he makes is just. I don't. A lot of fans, including me, I'm sure I've read the comments, can't get their head around it, and I'm thinking. So what's Mourinho's mindset? What's he thinking is going to work here by taking Fred off, our best attacking player, and Fellaini and Matches stay on, our slowest, tallest midfielders? It's just baffling, mate. I could go on forever, but yeah, that was my little rant. I appreciate it because I needed that. Get some anger out.
Not a problem, mate. I'm going to try and get a few others on as well, but I appreciate your thoughts and thanks for calling in.
Cheers, pal. See you in a bit.
See you in a bit. I don't know. I don't know whether it happened, but did Fellaini run over and hug Mourinho? Did that happen? Did that happen? I don't know whether that happened. I sort of saw something that it might have done, but we'll see about that. Anyway, want to take another caller? Let's see if we can get Brian on. Can you hear me, Brian?
Yeah, hello.
Hello, you're on the United stand. What do you want to say?
I'd rather you ask me a question.
Okay, I'll get another caller on them because I can't be doing that. Let's try somebody else. If you're going to come on the United stand call-ins, you've got to have something to say. It's not 20 questions with Mark Goldbridge. We've just won a game of football. You've got to have an opinion on it. What do you want to ask with the weather? Let's try somebody else. Hello, can you hear me?
11, do you know what I mean?
Hello, I've just pulled somebody into the United. You're live on the United stand. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello, yeah. Who am I speaking to?
It's D Ghost.
All right, mate. What? Tell me how you're feeling after that result, then.
Crap. Rubbish. That was absolutely rubbish. You had the lamppost, the tree, and he also bought on the bus driver as well. So, which is Lukaku, by the way, the bus driver. It shouldn't even be happening. I don't agree with his tactics again. No one should be happy with that. To me, that's even worse than the Palace game, in my opinion. Crystal Palace would have most probably went out there and beat them 3-0.
Yeah, I think they would have done. They were a poor side in my mind.
Yeah. I've got nothing to say. I just can't wait until Mourinho is gone. I hope it's this in January he's gone. Wait until the end of the season. It's just going to be like the most atrocious year. I think I saw you the other day, actually, but I didn't speak to you at the Crystal Palace game.
Oh, yeah.
I was only there because I was taking my father-in-law. He's never been up there to actually see Old Trafford, so I took him up there. The worst bloody experience ever to take someone and watch. It's just, that was terrible watching that as well. That was painful. Coming all the way from London to go all the way up there, 6, 7, 8 hours, travelling back and forth and watching that game. It's a joke. He's got to go. He's lost the dressing room. He's lost the players. There's no confidence. And if anyone, I know you've been saying it, everyone knows it, it's the manager. It always boils back to the manager. You put Fellaini and Matic in the centre of the park. That's the manager. He does the tactics. He's the one who doesn't, 2.5 years in, he doesn't know his best 11. It's terrible.
I think
terrible.
What I was going to ask you there actually is that, I just want to sort of try and play devil's advocate here because I've had my say, I've done my match reaction. There will be United fans out there who are Mourinho in, obviously. But the thing for me is that if you look at how we won that game and you look at the players that he had on the pitch, the Matiches, the Lukakus, the Fellaini's, the Chris Smallings, the Valencias, his favourites. If you are a Mourinho winner, then you must be happy with the fact that he might be here for another 2, 3, 4 years. Mr. Ego, Mr. Me, playing shit football. That's the thing that I don't understand how people are happy because, yeah, winning's great, but we're not winning enough games to ever put a title challenge up with this man. We win the odd game here and there, and when we do win it, we're almost embarrassed by it because the football's so poor. I just don't know how long it's going to go on for. It could go on all season.
Do you know what? I wouldn't even mind. I know this sounds bad. If we were playing decent football and we were, where are we now? 7th in the league, and we had a goal difference of 16, but because we kept losing games, a couple of games 3-2 where we went at it, we're not even doing that. We're -1 goal difference coming up to halfway of the season. 8th in the league or 7th in the league. I don't even know. I don't really care where we are in the league. It makes no difference because we're definitely not getting top 4. I don't know why everyone keeps thinking that it might happen, it won't happen. That ain't never going to happen. We're not getting in the top 4. So I don't know what the board's waiting for. Get rid of him now if you want to even have a chance of seeing if you could do something new and get these players performing. Because there's nothing wrong with the players. To me, it's all about his choice of who he's putting out on the field and his tactics. And I'm not sure what they're doing with them in training. Because if you look back to, is it Rui Ferreira, who was his assistant before, the coach before, our defence was a lot more better. Now look, he's gone and it's a shambles. Same defenders, nothing changed. How can you go from that overnight?
Yeah, you're spot on. Thanks for calling in, pal. I'm going to try and get a few on, but really appreciate it and really good points.
No problem. Speak to you soon. Nice one,
you
Mark.
too, pal.
You
Thanks very
care.
much.
Bye-bye.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Let's have a look who else we can get on. It's interesting. I've just had a message from a mate. I was listening to that call. I just had a message from a mate who's a United fan, and he was basically saying that it's a long time until the last 16 of the Champions League. It's middle of February. That's how long we're going to have to put up with Jose Mourinho, till the middle of February, because it's going to be very, 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 very long. Because I don't think, I mean, I know I have said, well, if we lose the game against Southampton, he might get sacked. Well, yeah, he might get sacked against Southampton. On the other hand, they might think, because this is the sort of people that we have in charge, they might think, let's keep him a little bit longer. Let's keep him a little bit longer at the club. Hello, can you hear me? You're live on the United Stand.
Right, Mark.
I'm not bad, thanks.
Right.
You?
I don't know what to say, man. Awful. Absolutely awful. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm just like, it's like every call I'm getting, everyone's saying the same thing, and I in a way, it's making me feel happier, because I felt my match reaction. I was just so negative, but I think so many United fans are feeling negative.
Well, it's because we're watching the same thing. That's why, because it's saying the same thing. It's literally, you watch it, no movement, same shit, sideways passing, can't cross the ball. It's trash. It's absolute trash.
You know what?
Everything's trash.
We've got so many good players. I refuse to believe that we don't have good players, but they're just not performing. Why do you think that is?
So, Pogba, every time you see him get the ball, it always has to be a 40 yards long ball that's literally pinpoint on someone's head. He has no movement in front of him. And the basics you learn in year 5, year 4, even year 6, like under 8s football, is when you get the ball and you pass it, you move. You don't get that. Matic just stands still. And Fellaini, well, he's always just up the pitch waiting for a long ball, and we've got no players to do it unless Pogba's on the pitch.
You mentioned Matic there. I did want somebody to mention Matic, and I didn't want it to be driven by me. I am now at this point starting to question my sanity on Matic, because I'm like, I've watched every United game probably for the last 4 or 5 years, and in the last 8 months, Matic for me has been consistently crap. But he's playing every single minute. He takes so many touches on the ball. He's so slow. He moves the ball so slow. He offers us, when people are running at us, he's running backwards the other way.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. But he's going to be in the team every week.
I mean, here and there you see him do the odds, ball forwards. But just throughout every game, I mean, the past 10 games he's played, it's passed him by like nothing. He's done literally nothing on the game. He literally gets the ball, passes it. He might get caught in possession. He's slow. And then at the end of the games, he just looks absolutely knackered. And he's done nothing. He stands still in the spot. I don't know how he even sweats on the pitch.
I was at the Wolves game a few weeks ago, and Fred played very, very well. And he was subbed around 60 minutes.
Yeah.
I watched the game tonight. Fred played very well, and he was subbed around 60 minutes. And yet, Matic stays on the pitch. These are the things that I think that Jose Mourinho there's many reasons why he's finished, but I think these errors of judgment are so profound and so frustrating for a club like ours. I mean, did you agree with his substitutions tonight? Would you have done anything differently to what he did? I mean, he did bring Mata, Pogba and Lukaku on.
I mean, Lukaku, I don't know, Lukaku. I mean, Lukaku can get goals. We know that. I mean, he's shit. I'm that that's I'm not going to let that just slide by because he's absolutely awful. But he can get goals, but we just don't put anything into him. You know, I mean, and Mata's I think he's a very good player, but we stick him on the right, out on the right, and he can't do anything because he can't run past anyone. So he always has to play it inside, and it's just obvious. You know, like I just feel like everything we do on the pitch, every other team knows exactly what we're gonna do. We all know Martial's gonna cut in from the left because he always does it. We all know Mata can't run past someone, so he's always going to pass it inwards or try and cross the ball, normally get something. And then you've got Pogba who's like a barn door. And not Pogba, Lukaku's a barn door, literally a barn door. You don't know what's going to happen with him. I mean, I like Sanchez up front, and I think he offers something, but he just can't seem to score. But then we can't seem to create any chances, so it just doesn't ever happen, you know? So
No,
it's all just everything we do just doesn't seem to. Yeah, it's like every tactic we try, we can put Rashford out on the right, Rashford out on the left, Rashford through the middle, Sanchez through the middle. Nothing ever comes off, you know. And everyone says like Jose plays this pragmatic football and we're set to counter attack. Every team looks like they can counter attack better. I mean, the young boys countered attack. They split us apart how many times today? If they had one good final ball through, they could have easily scored 2 or 3.
Mm.
You know, just with one good little ball through, and all it takes is for a player to just put it in the bottom corner. I mean, every team has what 10 chances against what we're meant to be one of the best teams in Europe, and every team can split us apart like we're Hovis butter or whatever you want to call it.
I think we've certainly got a couple of young boys were there to be beat 5 or 6-0 and we struggled. I think, Southampton desperately need a win at the weekend. We should beat them, but it's going to be a tough game. And then we've got Arsenal at Old Trafford in a week's time.
Arsenal are going to Arsenal. I mean, everyone says we always beat Arsenal. We haven't beat Emery's Arsenal. And Emery's Arsenal look a hell of a lot better than Arsene Wenger's Arsenal. They're going to absolutely walk all over us.
You never know, though, because Mourinho's a lucky manager, and everyone thought we were going to lose at Chelsea. We should have beat them. We got a draw, but then I think we'll probably lose against Southampton and beat Arsenal because that's the sort of thing that he does. Let's end the call on a positive though. At the end of the day, happy with the result as a United fan. How far do you think we can go in the Champions League? I daren't ask.
Well, I was just looking at the table and all the tables, and I was looking at teams who will go through. I mean, I don't think we'll beat Napoli, PSG, or Liverpool if any of them go through. I mean, Real Madrid's got smashed by Eibar the other week, but I don't think we'd beat them. I mean, it's two matches you have to play. I don't know. Against all these teams, 2 matches? Nah. I think possibly the second rounds, if we're lucky. And that's about it.
All right, mate. Well, thanks for calling in. Really good points, and I really appreciate it. And please do call in again.
Yeah, no problem. See you, Mark. Cheers.
See you out. Let's grab somebody else. It's an interesting situation at Manchester United, isn't it? I call it interesting. Actually, it's very frustrating. I was just while I had the call on, I was listening to Michael Owen, ex of Manchester United and Liverpool, and he is saying good result for Manchester United, but his long ball in the last 10 minutes, Manchester United, not for me. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Maybe we'll get a different caller on who's going to come on and say something very, very different, but ex-United players, pundits, or, fans, you lot, everybody's just saying it. United have won a game, and we're all a little bit sort of in this odd mood, which is odd. Jimmy James, can you hear me?
G'day, Goldbridge. How you going?
I'm going absolutely fantastic. What are you feeling?
I mean, lots of people have come on tonight and just expressed how disappointed we are. It's the same old shit, day in, day out. But earlier on, straight after the game, I jumped onto Discord and we had a Chelsea fan on. And he was going on about how we knew what we were getting. This was going to be Jose. He was like, oh, you can't complain. You knew what you were getting. We thought by season 3, This would be a title challenge. This isn't a title challenge. This is a fucking train wreck.
I agree, because actually, you know what? These Chelsea fans saying, "Oh, you know what you were going to get." Well, we did know what we were going to get. We were getting a manager who wins the title in the first 2 years. You know, we haven't got Jose Mourinho. We've got a washed-up has-been.
Yeah, I mean, it's just frustrating because it's not just we expected a title. We expected better than this. We expected to have young boys at home and not have to rely on Fellaini to win in the last minute of extra time. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I don't know. I, as I said in my match reaction, I've never felt like this as a United fan, where you win a game that qualifies you for the Champions League, which is great, because I didn't want to be in the Europa League. I hate the Europa League. I think we'll be in it next year.
That's the only positive, because what are we going to do? We're going to turn up and we're going to do the same thing we did last year against Sevilla and just get knocked out by any team. Tonight, Bayern Munich beat Benfica 5-1. We would have got slapped by Benfica if we played them the way we played tonight. The difference in class across Europe compared to us right now is just ridiculous.
It is, and I feel that I just feel that. I mean, how long do you think Mourinho is going to be here? It's a question I ask a lot of people. And how long? What do you think?
I mean,
what do you think? If we lose to Southampton, will they sack him? Do you think, or do you think that they're going to give him the Champions League no matter what now?
I think Jose should go tomorrow morning, but I just can't see this board sacking him. I just think they're going to stick with him. I think they made a mistake with Moyes and they realise it. I think they made a mistake with Van Gaal and they realised it, and now they don't want to admit their mistake, and they're just gonna ride this for as long as they can get away with.
I agree with you. I think I've heard it. A few people have mentioned it. Ed Woodward went all out for Mourinho. There was people within the club that didn't want Mourinho because of the baggage he brings. It's all on Woodward, and if he gets it wrong, it's all on Woodward. And I think that Woodward probably doesn't know that much about football either. And I think we are going to stick with him. But you know what? A lot of people didn't see that goal in Old Trafford because there wasn't a lot of people there, and a lot of people had left. And I wonder if it is
that's
something.
That's got to hit home surely to the board when they see fans walking out before the game's even over. These guys, they know they're getting so much revenue from these ticket sales. They must see the decline in ticket sales and fans leaving unhappy. That's got to be the only thing that hits home.
Let me talk to you about Marcus Rashford and change the spin a bit. Missed a lot of chances tonight. Was being called Marcus Trashford on the watch along by a lot of people in the live comments. I was defending him a bit, saying, look, I like Rashford. He's from the youth setup. I felt Mourinho's reaction to his miss says it all for me. I think Southgate's reaction would be positive. Go on, let's do it again. He plays well for England. He plays crap for United. What do you think the problem is with Rashford?
No, the problem with Rashford is the same as most of the players. He'll probably get benched now, and it's that inconsistency of if you miss one chance, instantly you're out of the team. Whereas Matic, and I know we've all talked about Matic, but he's played shit for weeks, and he's going to play next game, guaranteed. Marcus, on the other hand, is probably one of the brightest English talents out there, behind probably just Jadon Sancho. And he only just missed that chance. I guarantee if that was for England, he would have slotted it. It's just having a manager that believes in you versus a manager who doesn't believe in you, and he's playing you because he's got to fill this quota of playing academy products. And yes, Rashford's got moments of brilliance. But Jose forgets, Marcus Rashford, when Zlatan was injured, Europa League, Marcus Rashford carried this team. He banged in an amazing free kick versus Celta Vigo, and he stepped up to the mark. So I think Jose needs to just take a step back and look at the bigger picture.
Yeah, definitely. I just want to ask another question here, because I've heard some people saying, well, if Fellaini hadn't scored tonight, then maybe that would have been the end of Jose. I don't think it would have been. I don't think tonight was the tipping point. I personally feel that Southampton at the weekend is more of a I don't know. But I don't think tonight, if we'd drawn, we would have seen the end of Mourinho.
I think there's something in this mathematical. The second we cannot mathematically qualify for Champions League, I'm sure that there's something in those contracts because, Van Gaal got fired after winning an FA Cup because we missed out on goal difference. That's quite ruthless from the board. And I would expect them to be ruthless with Jose if they're following that same principle. So we're going to have to wait and wait and wait until it's mathematically impossible. That's the only way I see Jose going.
Thanks for calling in. Really enjoyed it, and definitely please make yourself available again when you can, Jimmy James.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, first time on, so I just want to say thank you. Pleasure.
No, it was brilliant debut, and thanks for doing it.
Cheers, mate.
Remember to drop a like on the video, everybody. We have done call-ins after games before. It went a little bit quiet because of Skype, but now we found Discord. It's so easy to do. So drop a like if you like us doing this, because we can do it after every game. And more importantly, drop a like because of the calls that are calling in. Really good opinions coming in. I just want to drop down and try and take a few people from the call Q3 because we're exclusively sort of doing people from the call in Q1 and 2 at the moment, and I'm sure there are people down here. Hello, can you hear me? You're live on the United Stand. No, they don't appear to have their thing on. Let's see if we can find somebody else. I don't know whether anyone's talking in there. I like that name. Let's see if we can get this person in. Hello, can you hear me? You live on the United Stand?
Hello?
Hello, Razor.
Hello?
Yep, you're live on the United Stand, pal. What did you want to talk about?
Yes. There's a couple of points that I wanted to make, actually. It's just, a few weeks ago, I was just talking to my colleague how after 9 games, we're 9 points behind the leaders. And at the time, I was just joking, well, that's a point a game. So after 38 games, we're going to be 38 points behind them. I was just kidding at the time. But then 12 games, we're 12 points behind. 13 games, we're now, 15 points behind. And the trajectory is actually going in to my prediction.
Yeah,
I think that's
you're not
just
wrong.
Terrible.
You're not wrong. I was just trying to think there, actually. Last season, were we 20 points behind Manchester City? So, I mean, I suppose the thing I would say is that, and I've been saying this for a while, we went to Young Boys and beat them 3-0 in September. We've just scraped a lucky win against them. I saw us against Crystal Palace at the weekend. That was one of the worst performances I've seen this season. I think we're getting worse. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, because, I think everyone can tell that the players are not playing for him. It's just like when you go to work, when your manager's digging you out all the time, you just do the bare minimum to get through. You don't really try particularly hard.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there because there's too much quality in our team to be putting in too many bad performances like this. I've said it as well. I think if you got a new manager in, this team would probably go on a 10-game unbeaten run. I think there is so much talent in there, but I think it's abundantly clear that there are issues. I mean, nobody's really spoken about it, but what was your thought on Alexis Sanchez not even being involved today? Because I thought it was a good opportunity to get him involved against a poor side, get a bit of confidence in him, but Mourinho clearly didn't want to do that.
Well, he tried to do that with Lukaku, but I don't think it particularly worked.
No, I mean, Lukaku, I said it during the game. How do you solve a problem like Lukaku? Because we might sack Mourinho, but I don't see Lukaku going anywhere anytime soon.
Because no one's going to want to take him off our hands, though.
So what would you do? Just keep playing him?
I can't really see that working out for us. It's just he needs to go now for a new person to come in and move it along.
What do you think what? Just the final question, really. What do you think? Where do you think this season's going to go for Manchester United? How long do you think Mourinho is going to be here? What do you think the season's going to finish up like for United?
Well, top four is definitely out of the question now, especially if he's going to stay on for the rest of the season. I hope he doesn't, but all the indicators are pointing that he will stay until top four is not possible.
There you go. Well, thanks for calling in, mate. Really appreciate it. And please do call in again.
Okay, cheers.
Thank you very much. I've lost my call-in queue. There we go. Okay, we'll drop him to there. Okay, let's have a quick look at the live comments, then we'll take another call. At least we're in the last 16, says the lighter M. And do any Manx still support United? Oh, what a ridiculous comment. Why did I even read it? Irrelevant. Absolutely irrelevant. Any club in the Premier League, at least 90% of its fan base won't be based in the city it is. Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, City. Unless you're a small little club that nobody supports, you're not going to have local support. It's ridiculous and it's irrelevant. I don't know why I read it out. I said top class from Mensif Depay against Man City and Mod blocked me, so they actually hate Depay, says an Oste. Well, they can't unblock you because I've just read your comments out. Director of Football, new manager needed ASAP, says Mudge46. For me, just to answer one of my own questions, how long do I think Mourinho is going to be here? Did tonight change anything? To be honest, I actually felt like tonight's game was a bit of a... Even yesterday, even today, I was like, United are playing, and I'm like, oh, we're playing young boys who are shit. We're clearly going to win the game. What does it do for us? And at the end of the day, I'm thinking about Southampton and Arsenal because we're not winning the Champions League. Whether we got knocked down into Europa League, whether we got knocked out, whether we went to the last 16, we're not going to win it. It's like David Moyes when we got to the knockout stage. We won't win it. You'd have to scam your way to the final and scam the final. You can't do that. There's too many good teams. So we're not winning it. It's all about the league. And it's all about where we're going to finish in the league. And I agree with the previous caller. We're not going to finish in the top four. So what's this season going to hold? The interest for me is Saturday and next Wednesday against Arsenal and Southampton. I refuse to predict the scores in those games. I can give you a prediction, but I don't actually know. I think if we lose both, he's gone. I think if we lose to Southampton, they'll give him till Arsenal, and then maybe he'll rescue himself again. Do I think we'll win both games? No. Do I think we'll draw and win one? Maybe. Do I think we'll lose and win one? Possibly. But it's the league games that are where it's at for me. That's where I think it's all about. We will tie Southampton 0-0. They are draw specialists, and unless we get lucky against us, Mr. Johnson, they need a result. We got no chance in the Champions League, says Michael Rose. Well, look, if you're backing Jose, he did come out with a very arrogant comment again afterwards, talking about how Mourinho saying that, I've qualified from all these groups over the last 14 seasons. Me. It's all about me. It's never anybody else's fault. It's never his fault. It's always somebody else's fault. That's Jose's world. That's the world we live in at the moment. I'm going to grab the caller because that's the way we roll here. Let's see if we can get this person on. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
You're live on the United Stand.
Hello.
What do you want to talk about?
Wait, hello?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect, mate.
Alright, yeah. So, basically just the performance from the players.
Okay.
It's just not good enough, really. We scored that last minute goal, and yeah, it was like we've just won against a big team when it's just young boys, and we honestly didn't really deserve the win. If you get me, I
agree.
I don't know.
I agree. I mean, what I was going to come back to you and say there is that, I said this after the game on Saturday. Mourinho in or out, whatever. The fact is the players are not playing anywhere near their level. Why do you think that is?
Yeah. I think Mourinho. I think they're playing to a style that Mourinho likes. So they're not they've not got that freedom of how they want to play. If you get me, so.
No, I think you're absolutely spot on, and a brilliant way to say it very, very shortly. They're not playing the football they want to play, and I think that's why they struggle. Because how can you have Pogba, Martial, Rashford, even Matic, I suppose, to a certain
Yeah,
extent.
yeah.
How can they all be so bad? Because they're not.
I don't get like Pogba as well. Like he's one of the best midfielders in the world, but when he plays for United, he looks just like a nothing really compared to what he should be like.
I mean, the way we won it tonight, the way we've won some of the games, you know, the way we beat Juventus, the way we beat Young Boys, it's long balls into the box. Let's be honest with you.
Yeah.
Mourinho seems to get the most success with that. Lucky wins, like you say. I've asked a few people tonight. At what point do you think the club will say enough is enough? Have you sort of in your mind? Can you see?
Probably at the end of the season. I don't see him being sacked. I don't think the club will sack him during the season, as it'll result in them trying to find a new manager. But I hope he definitely goes at the end, at least. But I can't see anything happening during the season. But it's just not looking good for United at the moment.
No, it isn't. I mean, January's coming. January transfer window. Would you give him any money? And if so, where would you be looking to improve?
I'd give him money and I'd try and get another defender. I like Lindelof, but I don't think Smalling's the best and stuff. And I'd definitely get a new striker because Lukaku, he's shit. He's just awful. So definitely a new striker. But I still don't know if it's good enough because we bought all these big players like Sanchez. We all wanted Sanchez and you could say Pogba and all that. And they've just not came out to be how we wanted them to be. If you understand, like we spent all this money, but yeah.
Yeah, just on Lukaku there's a lot of people talking about Lukaku and getting rid of him. I mean, I mentioned it on the watch along. I think Mourinho's one thing. Getting rid of Mourinho's one thing. But how do we get rid of Lukaku when everybody knows he's crap? I mean, I think he's a problem we might have to solve ourselves. I just don't know how we solve it because about 90 million all in is what he's cost us. I don't think anybody's going to buy him. So how do we get the best out of him?
I think we are trying to get the best out of him by playing long balls, heading it into the box. That's but it's just not working. So I think we're just going to need a new striker and a new style because we're kind of just long balls, as you said. But yeah. I
think the thing with Lukaku for me is that, as we saw in a game like today, he's absolutely nothing with the ball at his feet. He's absolutely nothing at creating anything. Lukaku's strength is hitting teams on the break, down the channels, or providing him with opportunities. And we clearly don't do that enough for him. What would your expectation be for the game on Saturday? Do you think we'll see the same, or do you think he might mix it up again? I mean, Martial didn't have a particularly good game. Rashford, Sanchez not even involved. Do you think he'll bring him back?
Martial didn't have the best game, but you could see he was trying to create chances. He had a few shots. I thought Rashford did well for creating chances, but he obviously couldn't finish. Like I don't know what happened tonight, but his finishing was not there. It's Southampton, so I don't know. It'll be tough, but they should win. But you were talking about Lukaku, and you were saying about like counter attack or something.
Yeah.
He tries to hit him on the counter or something.
Yeah, just at Everton. Obviously teams had a go at Everton more, so Lukaku used to get a lot more space to spin in and run at teams. But United teams don't play like that against us. So
yeah. Well, quite a lot of the times when he does get the ball, he's like on a counter. He can't pass. He just gives a crap ball to like Martial or something, and it ends up Martial miscontrolling it or something because of the bad pass, and it just shows how the lack of ability from Lukaku. We need someone who can counter quickly and someone who can counter quickly and just do a correct ball every time instead of always trying to be lucky or something with the pass. But yeah.
Thanks for calling in, pal. Really appreciate it, and do call in again.
Thanks. Cheers.
I just want to pick up on that last point from Matty as well, because it just reminded me of a point in the game that, Lukaku had one bit where he tried to control the ball, ran off and left the ball behind, which was comical. But there was another bit where we had a bit of a 2v2, and Lukaku's got one man and Martial is sprinting ahead of him, and anybody who can pass the ball would put it beyond Martial for Martial to run onto. He's one-on-one. You'd fancy Martial to score. What does Lukaku do? Plays it diagonally behind Martial, who has to adjust his run, come back in, and then there's 2 or 3 players in front of him by then. And that's the problem with Lukaku. It's never the right pass that he plays. But the thing is that what I would say about Manchester United and Jose Mourinho is that we are always going to play Matic. We are always going to play Fellaini. We are always going to play Lukaku. And that in itself makes us a certain type of team. And if you want Manchester United to be an attacking, expansive team, we're never going to be that. There's too many lumberjack players there. Too slow, too cumbersome. And it's very easy to give Marcus Rashford a bit of criticism. He should have scored his chances today. But the speed of movement that Rashford makes compared to Lukaku, it's like a broken down vehicle and a Ferrari. It's absolutely, Rashford needs to improve his finishing, I agree. But his actual movement puts him into those positions where we go, he should have scored that. Lukaku won't get in them positions. He just won't. I think Alexis Sanchez is a very interesting point as well. Rupin says, buy Kevin De Bruyne and Hazard. That's how you solve the Lukaku problem. Sorry, just being sarcastic. I think Lukaku is Lukaku. I'm happy to talk about Lukaku for a moment, because a lot of people are saying get rid of Lukaku. I don't disagree with that. But it's not like Mourinho. A couple of more bad results, maybe Mourinho gets the sack. A couple of bad games, you don't sack Lukaku. You try and sell Lukaku. But we've only had him just over a year. We spent 75 million on him. I think it might be 90 million with add-ons. We ain't going to sell him for that price. So we're going to have to keep him. And if you're keeping a player that's worth that much money, you can't just chuck him in the reserves or not get him. We've got to find a solution to Lukaku, is what I'm saying. He is not going to be sold because no one's going to give us half what we paid for him. So we've got to find a solution to him. I think what needs to happen is somebody, whether it's the new manager or Mourinho, needs to get him back to what he was like when he first came to the club. And I don't like talking about physicality because I don't believe he's fat. I think it's muscle. He's got to lose that muscle. He's too big. It's ruining his game. I don't think his game was brilliant without the muscle, but it was better. He was quicker. And he's better for United being quicker, as we've seen with people like Rashford. He needs to lose the bulk. And then what we need to do is appreciate the fact that Romelu Lukaku can't dribble, can't build up play, can't pass. You've just basically got to work on getting the best out of him. And one thing we've never done with Lukaku, and we haven't been doing it at United for years, is we need to get wide players who can put crosses in the box, because that might find another 5 to 10 goals a season for Lukaku that he's not getting at the moment. And we need to find opportunities to create chances for him in the box. At the moment, Lukaku's getting involved in build-up play. He's getting involved in, running the channels. He's getting involved in loads of things that his game's not good at, and we're not getting him involved in enough of the things that actually will bring out the best in him. Because I've got to be honest, I don't rate Lukaku, but he's a problem to solve, and I think we're going to have to solve it ourselves. It's different to Mourinho as far as I'm concerned. Nisha says he's put too much muscle on. His brother is less bulky and a lot faster. He used to be... I don't understand what's gone wrong with Lukaku's build. He was interviewed and he said, it's a nonsense, people talking about it. I'm one of the strongest players in the Premier League. What was that lad, Akinfebi, or some, the big one who used to play for Wimbledon? He's probably the strongest player in the league. It's simple. It's an obvious fact. If you are heavier, you will be slower. You've put on a load of weight in muscle, and you are a slower, more clumsy player. Get it off. Get it off. Lose it. Get yourself down the gym. Get off the weights. Trim yourself down and start trying to save your United career, because that's what's going to happen. Matt Grease says, gracefully put, but I just think Lukaku is garbage. You may not be right. It was Akin Fenwa. You may be right. Lukaku may be trash, but we've got... Who's going to buy him? We're going to have to solve that problem. Breen Irwin makes a good point. He says, this papers over the cracks, this win. Nothing changes. Terrible performance, lacking any real good quality or content. You know what? Please do drop a like on the video, by the way, because we've had some really good callers and some really good live chats. And I want to know if people want us to continue doing these call-ins after each game. But what I would say is that the vast majority of people I've seen are not happy tonight, even though we've won. And that, to me, says a lot. I did my match reaction, if you've not seen it yet, and I felt weird. I felt strange, because I was like, we've just won a game. We've just qualified for the Champions League. We're not going to drop to Europa League, which is great, but I feel embarrassed by that result. And I think a lot of United fans do. I think Jose Mourinho was probably the only person associated with Manchester United who was, smashing things on the floor in an absolute release of aggression and anger with that goal. I think everyone else was like, all right. Yeah, we are where we are. I said that this morning. I don't think anything changes, really. I'll have a look for you, Red Koala Army. I don't know whether it'll make it a lot easier if that is your name. I've gone all quiet now trying to find this caller who, it's never easy to find somebody if their live comments YouTube username is different to what their Discord name is. So I can't pull you in, mate, because I can't bloody find you, which is frustrating. So maybe it's a bit of a learning curve for you there to do that. Let's try this person. Hello, can you hear me? You're live on the United Stand.
Right, Mark.
I'm good,
yeah,
thanks.
I've got to say, really disappointed in the performance. Got to say, it's. I actually got a headache watching the games now. That's how bad it's got.
Well, can I just ask you then, what was your reaction when Fellaini scored? Like, honestly, how did you feel? Because obviously normally United, you're ecstatic when they score. Did you still get that, or was it something different tonight?
No, I'm obviously glad that we won, but I didn't really feel that much, and that's scary, because before I'd be pumped like when United scored, especially in like 90th minute. Don't know, that's the classic way, it's the United way, but that's what Mourinho's done. It's just made me feel so bored and lethargic watching the team.
Do you think there is any way of this being turned around by Jose Mourinho at Manchester United? Because I certainly think that the board are going to give him absolutely every opportunity for that to happen.
Personally, no. I think the ship has long sailed. I think the excuses all came out from the summer, which probably didn't help. I think certain players are trying, but yeah, I just don't think there's a clear strategy anymore. Too many players don't fit the system in terms of what we want. Matic is one of them. It's far too slow in his distribution. Valencia's the same. You got players who are just terrible at distributing that ball quickly, and we're looking redundant. That's the problem. We're looking redundant against basic teams now.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. I think we are. I think we're. I think the one thing that frustrated me tonight, and I don't normally react to team news because it's bitten me in the past when I say that team's going to lose, that team's not good enough. But what is abundantly clear to me now is that you can predict the style of play we're going to play under Mourinho with every team selection, and as soon as you see Matic and Fellaini in the team, you know it's going to be a struggle. It's never going to, there were some good parts in the game, but it's never going to free flow like it does. City from minute 1 to minute 90 play a certain brand of football. With us, it's very stop-start.
I agree with that. I definitely hear what you're saying when it comes to Matic and Fellaini. I think overall in midfield there is a problem, and it's the recruitment. When you look at the midfield, it's so disjointed. So even if you want to play Fred and Pogba together, which on paper looks really appealing, I'd love to see those two play more together. But both of them are so ill-disciplined defensively, and I think that's the problem. It just looks disjointed. You have so many different types of midfielders trying to fit into this system, and it's just not working at this moment in time. I think there's been a lot of talk about Pereira, but again, I just don't think he's quite at that level yet in terms of a defensive midfielder. I still think he's more attack-minded, which actually he probably played better at for Valencia on the right-hand side. We need to get a player who's more mobile. So maybe Herrera, because Herrera is more tactically disciplined, and switch him for Matic, and then maybe you can have a Fred and Pogba together, because they have been ill-disciplined. I think away from home they've been caught out a number of times now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just quick final question. I've asked a few people tonight. When do you think he's going to go, Mourinho? Try and give us some positivity.
When does the United share price go really low? Because that's what they're going to look at. It's purely financial from their point of view. I think it's when Mourinho will be out of the Champions League. So I think they'll get through the last 16. I don't know why, but it has a very Moyes feels to the season, and I think it'll be like quarters that they'll probably go out. So whenever the quarters will be.
Which will probably coincide with when it's mathematically impossible for us to get top four, and we'll be back in the Europa League.
Exactly. Yeah, there's no proactivity, unfortunately, from the board, and that's just the way it is. But that's another argument for another time.
Well, thanks for calling, pal. Really appreciate it, and really good points.
Cool. Cheers, buddy. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Really good calls on the Discord tonight. I'm going to have to stop it there. Other clubs being in bad state is saving him, says Sai Charan Teja Gabalani. I would happily continue to take your calls, so please do drop a like on the video. But I've just checked in the back of YouTube and we've got 3 fan cams ready to go, so I've got to get off on air and get those on. So literally, you've been sport tonight. You've had my match reaction, we've had the call in, which I've really enjoyed, so thanks everyone for getting involved. And literally, you're about 3 or 4 minutes away from the first fan cam going up. So sit tight on the YouTube channel and just keep refreshing, and you will see it coming up. I will have it up for you in literally about 2 minutes time. Thanks everyone for watching. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, bottom right hand corner. Let's get ready to rumble, because we're just about to find out what the match going fans have got to say, which I always think is very, very interesting. Support the fan cams, listen to what they've got to say. Do they feel like us, or because they were in the ground, do they feel a lot happier? Because we're not. It's a weird feeling tonight. Thanks for watching.